Don't bother.
Your life won't be worth spit!
I've been dead once already. It's quite exhilarating. You can think of it as therapy.
Jordan, listen. Maybe we can cut a deal.
Jordan? Jordan is dead, my friend. And you can call me Movie Worm. And as you can see, I'm a lot happier. What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another review, and this is going to be for Tim Burton's Batman from 1989, starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson and Kim Basinger. This tells the story of Batman going up against the Joker, who is terrorising and poisoning people in the streets of Gotham City. Now, I know a lot of people back in the day used to have these VHS tapes that they used to just watch constantly, and for me, Batman from 1989 was one of them. I used to absolutely adore this film and still do to this day, actually. I actually went to cinema to watch this last year, and it was probably the best experience of me having with this film. But it just has so many great moments going for it, and there is a little bit that grates on me as well, especially over the years after rewatching it a lot. So let's just delve in to Tim Burton's Batman. Now, apparently, back in the day, this was a massive event. This well-known comic book hero coming to the big screen in this big budget blockbuster film, and I can believe it because we had the same hype with The Dark Knight. We've got it for Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman movie. So back in the day, I can't only imagine how big this film was going to be, and rightly so. It does actually have that blockbuster feel to it. Now, what you really do notice straight away is the whole look of Gotham. It looks bleak, dark, depressing, and totally crime-ridden. And apart from a few dated backgrounds, which are clearly drawings, I think Tim Burton got this spot on. It looks fantastically rotten, if you like. Batman being this whole talk amongst these villains who fear him as well, even though he's a little bit of a myth to them.
I heard the Bat got him.
The Bat? Oh, man, give me a break, will you?
Just adds so much mystery to the character. And when they're saying things like the giant bat, and then Batman actually gets hold of them and says, "Tell all your friends about me," it starts to spread the word, and the media start to pick up on it. The police don't really want to talk about it. And I just think it's a very, very good starting point for this Batman, where he's very early into his hero days, if you like. And it just brought an element that Gotham can actually be saved, and something for the citizens to believe in. And this is one of the more simple Batman movies, just having the one villain as the Joker there, whereas all the other films have 2 or 3 villains in. But I feel like they had to start off this way, and it's executed really, really well, actually. Now, one reason why people love Batman is because of the amount of unique villains that it has in its universe, and the Joker is the most popular amongst them. So it's no surprise that they went with the Joker in this movie to start off. And I must say, Jack Nicholson is fucking incredible in this film. Now, I know a lot of people tend to lean more towards Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger's Joker being the best performances, and probably rightly so. But Jack Nicholson, you realise how many, after watching this so many times, he's not a million miles away. He's up there in the conversation for sure. He is possibly the biggest positive about this movie.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Throughout the runtime, we just see this madman terrorising Gotham, and the more you watch it, the more you realise how much of a sinister villain Jack Napier / Joker really is. I mean, he's poisoning people on the streets of Gotham in the hundreds. He gasses them all at the end and the big festival, and he murders a lot of people in cold blood here as well. And heck, he even kills his best friend Bob, who's been his lifelong partner. After thinking about it for merely 2 seconds, he just shoots him with no emotion. In fact, what is scary about him the most is that he actually gets a kick out of these heinous crimes and enjoys doing what he's doing. Most of the time, he's just laughing too, and I think Jack Nicholson absolutely nailed the laugh here. I mean, he laughs at literally everything, in this movie. He says something and then just laughs, even though it's not funny. But you believe that he thinks it's funny. It's not forced. It really does feel like a genuine laugh, and sometimes you just laugh along with him because his laughter is that contagious. But even though he laughs at things that aren't funny, he also does come out with some hilarious moments here and some really comedic quotes as well.
He's at home, washing his tights.
One of my favourites is when someone asks him, "What's with your stupid grin?" And he just says, "Life's been good to me." Or, how can you forget, "Never rub another man's rhubarb." But my favourite amongst them all just has to be, "You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on, would you?" Just lastly on this character too, I just want to point out that the makeup design is great. It looks amazing. It still holds up today. And that moment where he emerges from the darkness in Carl Grissom's office, awesome. In the main corner though, we do have Batman, of course, played by Michael Keaton. And as of today, he is still my favourite Batman. I love the way he has a much more darker approach to himself than some of the other films, where he doesn't have this rule where he can't kill anyone. That all works for me. And I love it where he's just fighting with these heavily trained martial artists and takes them out with one kick and stuff. I love the voice, the look of him. And he's got more rubber on his suit than a monster truck tyre, but it still really holds up today. As Wayne, though, he does feel a little bit flat at times. He's not really a truly enjoyable character or anything, and is a little bit dull at times. It's not a bad performance or anything. I just think they could have done more with the character in the script to bring a bit more likability about him. He just, could have been better. What I love about this film, though, as well as the Joker, that just kept me coming back for more, is the amount of awesome scenes we have. It does feel like a late 80s, early 90s blockbuster, and that's exactly what it is. Like I said at the start of the review, it has that, blockbuster feel to it. But scenes like the Axis Chemical Plant, Fungalheim Museum, how can you forget? Part Man! I just love that song from Prince. And we also have the third act on the streets of Gotham and the cathedral and stuff. It's just a fucking epic action / comic book hero movie. By the way, that third act in the cathedral does feel like a little bit of a video game at times, because every floor that Batman climbs, he has to deal with this new unique villain who has all these kind of special moves or different traits. It's kind of weird, but if it's any consolation, I used to love the Mega Drive version of this game a hell of a lot, and that's exactly what happens in that game. However, as I get older, I feel like the best scene in the entire film for me is the death of Bruce Wayne's parents, for quite a few reasons actually. The score from Danny Elfman that kicks in when Bruce pauses the TV on Jack Napier's face just gives me goosebumps every time, and a whole origin story is then told in about 2.5 minutes. Everything about this scene just feels like dread, from the moment they walk out the theatre, the streets of Gotham being empty, the night being as dark as ever, and the smoke from the gutters filling the streets. The lighting is absolutely incredible, and this is further proven when his parents are shot with a young demonic looking Jack Napier emerging from the shadows. What makes this scene even more sinister and dark is that Jack Napier was actually going to shoot Bruce, even though he's a little kid, until Bob says, "Come on Jack, let's go." But when he says, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight," and he just said it to him in Vicky Vale's apartment there, he looks at the screen and realises that this guy has been his fucking nemesis all his life, and still is to this day. And it just makes you realise that they are the biggest of enemies, and it just sets the final 30 minutes up in such a good way. I could do a whole video on that scene, but moving on. I just want to say that the Batmobile in this film looks absolutely incredible, and it is used so much to Batman's advantage here, but definitely one of my favourite looking Batmobiles in any of these movies. Now, although I do love this film a lot, there is some things that do irk me, mainly involving Vicky Vale. Now, I don't think Kim Basinger is too bad in this movie, but there are some things that she does that annoy me, and her character does. Now, one of them is the screams. I mean, fucking hell, man, they just grate on me so much. I just want to put my fingers in my ears so I just can't hear it every time she screams in the film. And also, she goes on one date with Bruce Wayne and she's very, very clingy, I feel. She kind of won't let him breathe and even follows him around with a camera. It just makes me think that she's a little bit of a strange character. I do think some of her and Bruce Wayne's scenes are some of the duller parts of the film. Like I said, Michael Keaton is okay as Wayne, but he's not the most interesting person. And I just feel like it would have been better if they kind of went out on the streets of Gotham instead of having dinner in Wayne's depressing looking decorated manor there. I mean, the film is very well paced, but these moments do slow it down a little bit. Also, why does Bruce Wayne sleep upside down? Just because he's Batman, it doesn't actually make him a bat. It's just a weird moment. And as much as I love Wayne's parents' death scene, I can't help but feel that the opening scene feels way too familiar to it. And I just wish they would have opened the movie up with something a little bit different there. I mean, these are minor nitpicks, but something I have always wondered as well. Did Tim Burton have many more plans for Harvey Dent? Because in the comics he is, of course, Two-Face. But he doesn't show up in Batman Returns from my memory. And maybe he was just there to take the bad guys down. Who knows? I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Batman an 8.5 out of 10. This is one of my favourite, most rewatchable movies ever. And I had a great time revisiting this once again. One of the best films in the Batman franchise for sure.
What a day.
Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Batman is that Robin Williams was actually gonna be offered the role of the Joker because Jack Nicholson couldn't make his mind up. Once they told Jack Nicholson said, okay, I'll do it. And Robin Williams was kind of bummed about this. He felt like he was used as bait and even said to Warner Brothers that I'm not playing the Riddler in Batman Forever, and didn't do any movies with Warner Brothers for quite some time. So Robin Williams would have been an interesting Joker, I feel, but I'm so happy we got Nicholson. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. Please consider subscribing to this channel. We've got a lot more videos coming, lots more reviews, and if you want to comment about Batman from 1989, leave it down below and I'll reply to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy, guys. I'll see you all in the next video.